I'm going to be real. I created the extra series just because I wanted to do a video on this game without disrupting the normal reviews, because what the fuck is this? Released in 2002 and 2003, Altered Beast Guardians of the Realms was released to the most lukewarm reception since Mortal Kombat 4 or something. But I wanted to cover it because these types of oddities are what I live for. Unlike the original, this one was made by a third-party developer, 3D6, over some THQ publishing deal, which is pretty funny considering out of every game THQ could have used, they chose Altered Beast. But don't you worry, because the original's lead designer, Maoko Ishida, was there to give guidance and keep the quality up. I guess, because Altered Beast is known for its quality. Remember to like, sub, comment, all that. Now, let's break down this oddity of 2000s gaming. I'm Verloon and this is Case Files Extra. Part 1, Story. This one has an actual story. I know, crazy, am I right? I guess.
Game stories are like porn stories.
Doesn't apply anymore. Well, it still sucks, but at least we have cutscenes instead of manuals. The premise is that there is this evil guy called Arcanon, and we need to get him and retrieve the realm keys before he kills every god or whatever. So you travel through every world the developers could think to retrieve the keys and stop Skeletor from committing global saturation. So let's just go into those realms. Part 2. Gameplay and level design. We start this game with an insane amount of levels. 14 stages and 1 boss stage, and it all starts in Crete, where we are introduced to new controls. They are better? Yes, at least you don't feel like a full-on tank this time. They are still not great, but better than the original. At least you can now control the jumps instead of just having 2 states. Outside of that, we progress like it's a normal Altered Beast game until I notice one major new change. The power-ups are no longer special versions of the enemies, but scripted ones that appear after a certain time. Now, technically, it's the same as the original, but with one major difference: the loops on the original were based on Freddy Krueger, so you could finish the stage in one loop. Here, the loop is the ghost wizard thingies, so you need to finish 3 loops. And the loops are about the same size as one loop of the original, at least they feel like it, which makes this game feel way more laborious and way less fun. But we eventually finished the loops and unlocked Canis as our first transformation, which is the werewolf from the original, which definitely looks less like a horse this time, but I feel like the hunchback posture is still not helping it look like a wolf, but a dirty fox now. Canis is strictly better in this version, and that is not a debate at all. Bray is absolutely busted, especially against the boss, which is a big fucking skeleton, and you need to break the pillars to kill him. We get the key to the next realm and move on into Dubari, which is an underground cave that sometimes gets hard to see the stage, but generally not that hard of a stage. And we unlock Nagi, the were-snake, I guess. The snake spits venom and does a little sonic roll, which are not the best attacks, but already above Ganja Bear on my books. The boss is this phallic looking snake that doesn't feel designed with the Nagi in mind, but who am I to question professionals, am I right? The third realm is Lerna, this swamp looking place, with really weird looking enemies for this game at least. And this is where we turn to our old friend Drago, the were-dragon, which has been nerfed into not being able to fly. At least his shield attack feels better to use. The boss fight here is this Hydra looking enemy, which is not great. I get the vibe they were going for, and maybe if the enemy attacked from the top instead of the side of the screen, it wouldn't feel weird. But as it is just try staying on the bottom and use shield attacks to damage them all as much as possible, maybe even jump a bit in some cases. The next realm is Sahar, which is obviously a reference to Sahara, although cactus don't exist there, much less ball-shaped ones, so I guess those evil Americans brought some from home. The transformation here is Smilodon, the were-tiger, which is bizarre since you would imagine they would reserve the tiger to a jungle, not the desert, but it still controls amazing even if they nerfed his projectile. The boss itself is this giant flying ant queen thing, which again doesn't feel designed with the Wertigan in mind, but it's simple enough to where any transformation would kill it. But take notice of how the ones that spin could kill this ant quicker, almost like the Nagi would make more sense here. We then move on to Organica, which is ironically the jungle level, and where I ran out of the limited continues this game gives, so I had to turn on infinite ones through cheating. Should I have gotten good? Probably. Should the portable game from 2002 not have continues that are basically 3 extra lives? Yes! Not because continues are bad, but because they strictly just mean the same as lives, since when you lose all, you don't restart the game from the start, just the realm you were on. So, on Organica, you become Therapies, which is supposedly based on a turtle, but it looks more like Ultimate Homungosaurus from Ben 10 Alien Force, to me at least. Besides that, Therapies sucks, and so does the boss, which, for some reason, is one that is only vulnerable after a stupid long amount of time, with one of the smallest weak points possible, since just 1mm off is likely to make you not hit him. The next realm, which is Oceanus, really creative guys, is generally awful. The whole level is underwater, so obviously everything floats, except you, until you get the new transformation Wereshark, or as the game calls it, Charodon, which sucks because someone used the same code for swimming and jumping, so you can properly react to stuff, which makes any boss underwater, which there are 2 of, infuriating and evil considering the continuous system. After that, we proceed to Despot, which is equally as bad for other motives, aka bottomless pits, which sounds amazing until you notice the transformation here is a rhino, where one of the attacks makes you run to the direction you are facing. The boss is also absolute nonsense and doesn't feel designed with the rhino in mind. Matter of fact, no transformation could take on this boss cleanly, maybe besides the tiger and wolf, if feeling brave. Vulcan, the next realm, which is equally annoying and is based on a volcano if you didn't get it. You become the Scorpion from Spider-Man, which is amazing. Shame the level sucks and makes it worthless. At least the boss is easy by how OP Scorpion is and should be. Changing pace a bit, Haven is a generally fun level because it speedruns the transformation for a pretty cool flying section where the beast, Avion, is generally fun. When you go over a bunch of weird levels with reused transformations and bosses that sometimes are better, sometimes are worse than the originals, and increasingly frustrating enemies. Pride Realm 13, Chaos Realm, is where the game goes stupid and has an existentialist science fiction level in the middle of our fantasy game, and the boss is absolute nonsense, because I can't see how it gets damaged. In Realm 14, we transform to Chimera, which sucks, probably the worst transformation, which is unfortunate because it's the last one and the one we used to defeat the final boss, which we defeat him, the evil man, in record time by just spamming all attacks on top of him, because I don't care anymore. This game is a whole bunch of nothing, honestly. By my standards, it doesn't have the low points of the original, but it feels bloated and incomplete, like a game made to match a console version that never came out. Most of it is just busy work, while the real meat is just a slightly more playable version of the first game. Part 3. Graphics and sound design. It's generally worse than the original, all because it's less consistent. Half of this game is generally good looking and lives up to the original. The other half feels like they looked at the Project Altered Beast game concept art, the PS2 one, and pixelized it. And then there's this small portion that just sucks, especially when you stop to look at the footage and analyze it. The psychotic tries of the team to make the game look like it has depth because of the pre-rendered graphics just makes it look more weird because not everything goes well together. And that's especially true for the main character, which sometimes looks like a doll, or those weird plant thingies from Swamp that look like claymation monsters. Sound design and music are also pretty tiresome and kind of bad. The original already was not great in this department, But with the bloat this game has, the noise pollution becomes a real factor in making any player feel tired and quit. Surprisingly way more than repetitive gameplay. Part 4. Conclusion. This game is an oddity of post-Dreamcast Sega, and I kind of hate it, but I also love its existence. Quality wise it's just a mediocre sequel to a mediocre game, with the game design of a passcode style game in the 21st century, making it feel dated, even though it visually looks like any old slop from the GBA era. And the biggest oddity is choosing Altered Beast. They didn't choose a Sega flagship, nor a B-tier one with actual potential, but this lonely game from the early era of Genesis that, by all accounts, was only a success because it came with the console at launch, instead of Alex Kidd or Golden Axe, which would undoubtedly be more successful long term, and make Altered Beast as relevant as Space Harrier. But that is not what happened, and it led to the creation of this game, and a reboot in the mid-2000s. This was Case File Extras, and we see each other on the next main case. Arrivederci.